and welcome to the Just One More Stitch Knitting Podcast. My name is Tiffany. I am the maker, knitter, crocheter, creator, doer of all the things for this podcast. And today I have a super exciting episode for you. Well, I'm super excited anyway. Today we are going to talk about my fall knitting plans for 2025. If you noticed in the thumbnail, it says, and probably winter too, because I've been rather ambitious. Not being able to knit for a year, I really feel like I need to recoup and make up. Like, I've already got ideas for my Make 9 for 2026. Like, I'm all over the place, and I definitely caught the fall, let's make all of the things vibe. And I went down a whole rabbit hole. It's been kind of crazy. In fact, I literally opened up Ravelry to set up the bundle so I could share it with you, and found another pattern that I want to make, which was kind of crazy. So where can you find me? I am on Ravelry as Tiffany Loves Yarn, so you can follow me there as well if you want. Otherwise, I am here on YouTube. Oh, I did want to say thank you to all of the new subscribers. I have had so many new subscribers over the last couple of weeks, and it has been so amazing to watch and to welcome everybody and to get to chat with you guys in the chat and respond to your comments. I've gotten some really good ideas for some of the things to do with the freebies that I did in the freebie video, which if you haven't seen, I'll leave a link for it somewhere here or down in the description for you guys so you can see that. It was the free fingering weights pattern, and I got a really amazing idea. One of you commented and said that you were going to use the pattern for the Shopkeeper's hot water bottle cozy, and you were going to put your rice and bean pouches in it that you microwave. And I thought that that was fantastic, and I commented back and was like, oh, I'm going to do that for my girls for their little rice and lavender pouches that I've made for them. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out, and please jump in the chat and join the conversation, because I love seeing your comments and seeing the ideas that you guys have for the things that I show you the patterns for. And sometimes I end up with really good ideas based on what you guys say. The bundle for these patterns for today's video, I'll leave a link to that down below so that if you want to check out those patterns, you can. I did try to pick all size inclusive patterns, and I listed the cost. When the pop-up shows up right here, I listed how much each one. I screenshot the price from Ravelry for you as well, so that you're able to see how much it costs. And somebody commented in my last video that I didn't leave the pop-up long enough, so I changed it from going this way to going this way, and it will pretty much stay up here for you. So that should take care of that. What am I wearing? These are, here, let me show you. These are from my free fingering weight bundle pattern from last year. And this was a crocheted pattern, and I will leave a link somewhere to that video as well if you want to check that one out. And these were super fun to make, really easy, and it was a great use of some scrap yarn that I had laying around. But that's my make that I'm wearing for today. And with that, let's get into the patterns, shall we? If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the patterns on Ravelry for you, so I can see what you can see. Okay, project number 1 is going to be the Campside cardi, and it is by Alicia Plum. And this cardigan, my mom made this one a couple of years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so pretty. And I recently realized that I've knit my fair share of sweaters, but honestly, I'm a cardigan girl. So I thought that this would be a great one to try. This pattern is knit from shoulder down, so it's a top-down cardigan. The recommended yarn is a DK weight yarn, but when I looked in the comments, I found that quite a few people had used worsted weight yarn, and I think that my mom used worsted weight yarn when she made hers also. I'm pretty sure. So to get back into the swing of things, I didn't want to use something super expensive to make it, and I also wanted it to be washable. So I decided that I was going to use this yarn to make it. This is the Yarn Bee Yarn ID yarn, and this is in the colorway Oat. So I figured something simple and neutral would be good for this one. It will go with the most of my tops because they're this color, or they're some shade of green. Like those are pretty much the only two colors that I wear. Once I dyed my hair red, it became a lot of green in my life. So a cream and green, that's what I wear. So I thought that this would be a good yarn for this. This pattern says that it has 2 inches of negative ease to 3 inches of positive ease if it's knit in the DK weight yarn. I definitely don't want to have any negative ease in my cardigan. I like them to be super loose and fluffy, and every pattern that I've ever written, I've always had to go down a needle size. So I'm thinking if I use a worsted weight yarn and I use the recommended needles in the pattern, which are a size 6, a size 8, and a size 9, I should get a cardigan that doesn't have any negative ease. So we will see how that goes. This pattern is $9 and it has currently been knit 2,725 times, and it looks like it's super simple. My mom said it was super simple when she made it a couple of years ago, so we will see how that goes. On to the next one. There's 7 of them total plus. The next one is going to be the Lana vest by Irene Lynn. And this, I think, is the thing that I am absolutely the most excited about. I've been waiting to cast it on till after I showed you guys the yarn. So after today, this is probably going to go on the needles. I have watched a lot of other people's fall 2025 knitting videos, and a lot of people have been like, oh, this is the one that they're going to make. And I've wanted to make a vest or a slipover for a couple of years. And I tried Petite Knits, I think it was the Novice pullover last year, but last year wasn't the best year for me. And I just couldn't get my head around the pattern, so I didn't get to make it. But I thought that I would go ahead and give this one a try this year. Every fall, I want to make textured knits. I don't know why, but it happens every fall. I'm like, okay, bring on the cables, all the cables, bring on the textured socks. I want to make all of the textured things. And I've never made a garment that is an all-over cable. I do have Sari Nordland's bookshelf cardigan pattern, and it's like, that's on my fantasy wish list of things to knit. I really, really, really want to knit that, but I feel like I need a stepping stone, and I think that this is going to be perfect for it. And then last night, I did a YouTube search for the Lana vest and came across a YouTube channel that I think belongs to Irene. I'm pretty sure it's her, but it doesn't have a lot of recent posts on it. But what it did have on it was tutorials for how to do some of the stitches in the Lana's vest. So I will make sure I include a link to that video as well, in case you are interested in making the Lana vest, because if there's something out there that will help us, I'm all for sharing. So since I am stepping out and doing something I haven't done before, I didn't want to risk a super expensive, really nice, luxurious yarn. So this wasn't a second instance where I went with an economy priced yarn, I guess is what we would say. And I used the Yarn Bee Yarn ID again, and this one is in the colorway Bonnie Lass. And it's a shade of green, and it makes me think of an army green. It's not quite showing up on camera like it should. It's showing up as a gray, but it's actually kind of a greeny color. Yeah, it's a greenish gray color. Anyway, so I got the yarn from Hobby Lobby a few days ago. This did not come from Stash. Obviously, the yarn from this one did not come from Stash either. I know that I'm trying to knit from Stash, but I feel like every time I try to knit a garment, I always have to get new yarn. So the Lana vest is knit with Aran weight yarn, but I think that, again, because I always have to go down a needle size, or I can hear the cicadas. Hold on one second. Let me close the window so they're not so loud. So the Lana vest is knit with Aran weight yarn, but like I said before, since I almost always have to go down a needle size in everything that I knit, I think between using the worsted weight yarn and the recommended needle sizes of size 8 and size 9, I'll be okay. I'll be good to go. For everybody that is new to this channel, I am not a swatcher by any stretch of the imagination. I think in all of the years that I've knit, I have swatched exactly twice, and once was for my very first knitted sweater. And I can't remember. I think the other one was for my very first pair of socks. And aside from that, I'm not the swatching girl. So we're just gonna wing it and hope for the best. If the cables don't pop out, or like I'm hoping, then I might have to revisit the yarn choice, but I'm hoping that this will work. If this doesn't work, then this will become another Campside cardi, and I will pick another yarn and do the Lana vest, because it's the thing that I'm most excited to make, and it's been made so far 704 times, and every one that I have seen on Ravelry or on YouTube is absolutely stunning, and I can't say enough about this one. I'm beyond excited, and that's all there is to it. Next up on the list is my more adventurous project. This is the Nonno cardigan by Isabel Kramer, and I have never knit an Isabel Kramer pattern, but I'm super excited to give this one a try because it has got this really cool slip stitch motif in it, and it's created by using 2 different colors. So for this one, I am going to use the Knit Pick Squish, and these did not come from the stash either. These were I had to order these, but this is the last yarn that I ordered. Everything else came from stash for the rest of my fall knits, so that works. So as you can see in the pattern, it has this really cool slip stitch design that's created using 2 different colors. So what I decided was to use Squirrel Heather as my main color. And it's actually coming out darker on camera than it really is. It's actually this really soft gray with like a brown undertone to it. It's really, really pretty. And this is a DK weight yarn, and that's what the pattern calls for, is DK weight. And for my contrasting slip stitches, I chose the Swish DK weight and the colorway Pinecone Heather, and this one is the DK weight and the colorway Moss. And so I figured the 3 of these together will make a nice combination, and these 2 should pop really well up against the main color, especially since it's actually in real life much lighter than what's showing up. So some things that I noticed about this particular pattern in the comments, a lot of people said take your time and read this pattern all the way through before you start to knit it, because it's super fiddly in the beginning. And I know that a lot of people have said that Isabel Kramer's patterns, if they've never knit one of hers before, that it kind of takes some getting used to her style. So I have the pattern. I've bought all of the patterns for all 7 of the projects that I want to make, and I haven't read it yet. That's on my to-do list for this weekend, and I am hoping that I can get this cast on Sunday. We will see. Some interesting things aside from the neat slip stitch: it has a provisional cast on for the pockets. I've never knit anything that has pockets, but it's on my list of things that I want to learn to do this year / 2026. So again, that's why I say my fall knitting plans will probably fall into the winter, because some of them are me doing things that I've never done before that are on my checklist of things that I want to learn how to do. From what I could tell online, it seems like a really straightforward pattern, but like I said, quite a few people did comment that getting started was a bit fiddly. All right, project number 4 is already started. I can show it to you. Okay, project number 4 is the Hoarfrost hat, and it is by Alena Malevitch. It is a free pattern, and it's a neat introduction for her because she also has the Hoarfrost pullover. So it's almost like you can make the hat, and if you can deal with that pattern, then hey, why don't you give the sweater a try? And the sweater is a paid for pattern. This I actually have already cast on, and here I can show you. It is knit with a strand of fingering weight yarn and a strand of mohair, and this is like my super luxurious hat. I am using, this is Manos del Uruguay in their Fino base, which is 30% silk, 70% merino wool. It has 490 yards, and the colorway is called Rosewater. And I am using the Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and I believe this is the colorway Blush. I have a whole bunch of this because there was a Rowan cardigan that I was going to knit a couple of years ago, and I've since decided that I possibly am not going to knit it because I don't know that I would wear a pink garment. So I have a sweater quantity of Rowan Kid Silk Haze that I need to work through. So those are the two yarns that I've chosen, and this is how far I have gotten on the hat. It has, since it's a free pattern, I can share, after you do the twisted ribbing, which I think was for 14 rows, then you switched to chart A. Yeah. Then you switch to chart A, I do believe, and it has it's a 41 row repeat. And so this is where I am. I have created 5 rows of the repeat, and this is what it looks like. And this is my stitch marker for this project. It's a little dragonfly. And I was kind of nervous because making a textured hat with a design in it was something that was on my list of things that I had never done before. I've done lace, I've done stockinette, I've done, all of the things except brioche. I've not made a brioche hat yet. So this is where I am on the Hoarfrost hat. I don't think that I will make the cardigan afterwards, but I have to say that I am really enjoying the hat. The pattern is super simple. It's not complicated at all. It is a charted pattern. She doesn't write it out, but this is what, since it's a free pattern, this is what the chart looks like. And I mean, that's where I am. Row 5 is completed, and there are 24 stitches for each repeat section, so it's just 24, 24, 24, 24, and I put stitch markers there. It wasn't recommended in the pattern to do stitch markers, but to me it was helpful to end the repeat and come up against the next stitch marker. That way I knew for my own sanity that I hadn't missed a stitch or screwed it up. So that's project number 4, the Hoarfrost hat. This is going to be hat number 5 or 6 of my 12 hats that I need to complete before I move to England, which I finished another hat, but I'll talk about that in a different video. Project number 5 is going to be the classic DK socks. And I have the sock project book by Summer Lee. She came out with this book last year? I think it was last year. Anyway, and I went down a whole Summer Lee rabbit hole. Anyway, so I have already cast on this project, and she has 2 versions of the DK weight sock pattern. I am making first this one with the rolled cuff and no ribbing or anything like that. And I am knitting these from Stash, and I am using Rowan's hemp tweed. I think this is one that my mom destashed into my stash, but I have 7 balls of it, and each ball is 50 grams. Here's what the label looks like. And here is where I am on my socks so far. It's a tweedy yarn, and since they're DK weight, they're thick. And one of my daughters, she tends to wear thicker socks in the wintertime and when she sleeps at night. So I thought that I would make this pair and give them to her. I have done the leg, I have done the heel flap, and I'm ready to do the heel turn and then the gusset, pick up for your stitches and carry on. And this is what the yarn looks like. And the colorway is called Plum. And it's got an interesting texture to it. I think that it actually would be a really fun knit for a cardigan, honestly, especially if it was in a red color. I think that that would be a really fun cardigan to make. So that's where I am with that one. I'm going to make the other DK wave sock pattern that she has as well that's in the book, and it is for the DK ribbed. There it is in the book, and I'll pop it up here on the screen for you as well. And I thought that I would do the DK ribbed as well, and she used a Tweety yarn for hers. So I think since I have 7 balls of this, I'm going to make these socks again, but make the ribbed version, and they'll just be bed socks. And I'll keep those ones for myself. So that's project number 5. I'm on the first pair, and I am trying to use up as many of the 7 balls of the Rowan hemp that I have, and then we'll see where we go from here. I kind of feel like if there's enough left over, I might be able to make a hat out of it. I might have a hat quantity left. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll see. So that's project number 5. Project number 6 is going to be the Varde wrap, and it came from the 52 Weeks of Scarves book. I thought that I would give this book one more skim through it before I donated it to the library, because when I'm done with my pattern books, I donate all of them to my local library because it's a good thing to do. So I was going through this one last time, and I came across the Varde, which 52 weeks, and it's pattern number 50. And here it is in the book as well. And I decided that I was going to knit this because I really, again, love the texture. I'll put a pop-up right here of a close-up of what the texture looks like. It just looks so pretty, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like if I can make it past the garter tab, I'll be okay. I'm not a big fan of garter tabs. I feel like I have to do them 2 or 3 times over every time before I get it just right. So after I knit this, I will donate this book to the library. And the yarn that I decided to use is from Stash. I believe 1 skein short. I am using the Louise Robert Design Collection, and it is a merino worsted, and the colorway is called Green Grows. And I feel like I got this from the La Bien website a couple of years ago, but I actually found the yarn on Amazon, I think it was, for $28 a skein. So if I don't have enough, I can just get another skein, and then I can just mix it. The shawl starts out as a crescent at the top, and then it expands out. So I'll definitely have to order that 4th skein and mix it through. But I'm not thinking it's going to be too big of a deal, because look at all of the color changes. Pardon the cat fur. Between Cinnamon and Walter, there's fur everywhere. But I think that given the fact that it has so many color changes in it, I think that I will be okay. And I don't mind having to order 1 skein to finish it. I feel like that's not too big of a... You didn't knit completely from Stash. I knit most of the way from Stash. So I'm super excited about that. Again, it's another textured one, and for whatever reason, like I said, in the fall, I just want to knit all of the textured things. So that's going to be that. And then I will donate my book and go from there. Okay, pattern number 7 is going to be the Grabo faux turtleneck. I'm sure I'm totally mispronouncing that, but I don't know what to do with the little circle above the A. I'm sorry in advance. This is a free pattern that I just was looking for free patterns for something else, and I came across this one, and when I saw it, I was like, this would be perfect to make for Jay. In the wintertime, Jay doesn't like to have his face uncovered when he goes out. It's just he doesn't like to breathe in the cold air. So I thought that this would be perfect for him because it's a mock turtleneck, but if he gets too cold, he can just unfold it and put it up over his face. And I have decided that I'm going to make this twice. So my 7 projects is really, I think, 11, because there's 2 pairs of DK weight socks, and this mock turtleneck is going to be knit twice. I'm going to make one for Jay, and this yarn is from Stash, and it is the Lion Brand's Fisherman Wool, and it's 100% wool, which means it'll last forever. And the colorway is called Brown Heather. And I think there's too much light in the room today, so you guys aren't getting like a good representation of this. It's more of like a tawny color, a bit warmer than what it's showing up on camera. So I thought I would use this from Stash and I would make it for Jay. And the other thing that I thought was really neat about this cowl when I was looking at it was that it has this neat design for the way that it's made to sit on the shoulders. If I remember correctly from looking at the pattern, you start here and you just do your regular knitting, and then you have these increases that happen at the end, and then you bind off. So the other yarn that I am going to use to make this is going to be the Sin City Knits worsted weight yarn, and it's 100% premium merino, and Sin City Yarns doesn't name their yarns. But this is what it looks like, and I thought that the gradient would be a fun look. I think I'm going to start with the outside of the skein and work my way in instead of starting with the inside, because I think otherwise I'm just going to end up with a whole bunch of light colors for my cowl. It needs US size 7 needles, and these are the needles that I'm going to use, and these are my very first cabled needles. You can tell that they've been around, like they're missing their color. I got these, I think, on Amazon absolute ages ago, well over 15 years ago, and the fact that they're still around after all this time, and they're literally my go-to size 7 needles for everything. I have 2 pairs, and I just wanted to share that I use my very first needles on a cable after all these years. Those are my 7 things that I want to work on this fall / this winter. I have quite a few cardigans in there that I want to make. And then yesterday I was on Ravelry looking for something else, and I decided that I wanted to make a cardigan that I could do some embroidery work on. That's not where I ended up, but that's what I was originally on Ravelry for. So as I was doing the searches, Petite Knit's Champagne cardigan came up, and I have knit her Sunday socks, which I loved. I have knit the Oslo hat, which I did not love, and I told you that I have the pattern for the novice slipover, but I've not made it. I tried it but couldn't get there. The Champagne cardigan has been knit 3,576 times, and it uses a worsted weight yarn. And so I was like, can we cast on another cardigan? It's worsted. Most of the garments that I have knit are all fingering weight garments. So I've knit all pullover sweaters, fingering weight, whether it's just one strand all by itself or it's been one strand with mohair, but it's always been fingering weight. But since this one was worsted weight yarn, because she uses a strand of DK weight and lace held together, which equals worsted, I was like, okay, a worsted weight cardigan. And you do double knitting for the button band, which would be something new for me. I've done double knitting one color for an ear warmer last year. I think it was last year, but I've not done double knitting on a garment before. So I figured, okay, something else new. So you need a size 7 needle and a US size 2.5 needle, and you need between 1,200 and 1,700 yards. I looked, and to make my size, I think I needed like 1,300 yards ballpark. So not from Stash. I went online to Michael's website because, you know, there is no Joann's anymore. And I found the Lion brand Heartland, which I knew what it felt like. So I was like, okay, this would be a good go. And this is in the colorway Mammoth Cave. And again, it's much warmer in person than it's showing up on the camera. And so I ordered it yesterday. I ordered 8 skeins, but I don't think I'm gonna need 8 skeins, but it's okay because I could totally make a hat or a scarf or maybe even a pair of Sunday socks out of that and have some left over. So I think I was at like 11 projects when you count the 2 that I wanted to make twice. And then I added this. So that was my add on yesterday. And then today I opened Ravelry to open up my pattern bundle, and I found this. Sorry Nordland has a new pattern for the Dido pullover, and it's got this beautiful, stunning, amazing, fabulous, yes please, can we make this right now? As soon as I saw this, I fell in love and was like, oh, this is Lana vest level love right here. The lace panel is completely on the front and it's regular stockinette on the back, so you're only committing to a lace front, not twice as much lace. It's knit on sport weight yarn, not fingering weight yarn. So I think I have to knit this. I have some sport weight yarn already. I have the Knit Picks wool of the Andes in sport weight, so I'm gonna look in my stash and see what I have. Otherwise, I will have to look online, but I think that this is going to go on my list of things that I want to make. I don't know that I will get to make it this fall, but if I don't get to make it this fall, this baby's definitely going on the needles for the winter. So this literally showed up this morning. So we will see how I get on with everything else that I have planned for my fall projects. And if I can get that cast on as well, I absolutely will. It'll be the second Sorry Nordland pattern that I've seen that I've absolutely fallen in love with. The other one being the bookshelf cardigan, but I've not made one of her patterns yet, and it's really on my list of things to absolutely do. Okay, there is one other pattern that is on my hopeful list that I can knit. I have the volume 1 of the 52 Weeks of Socks book, and I was in Amazon today and happened to notice that they have this 52 Weeks of Socks volume 2. So there's only one pattern in volume 1 that I want to knit, and it is pattern 52 of 52. It is the Dear Björn socks. And here is a picture of them. And I will also pop up a picture here on the screen for you. And it comes in 2 sizes. It is knit with regular sock yarn on size US size 1 and US size 0 needles. But I absolutely loved the slip stitch texture on these. Like I said, fall, bring on the cables, bring on the textures. I'm here for it. So I think that I would like to try to cast these on as well. I have to look in my stash and see what yarn I have, because they used a dark yarn for theirs, and I absolutely think that I would want to use a dark yarn as well. Something in a solid, which I don't tend to have a lot of solid fingering weight yarn in my stash. It always tends to be gradients, tonals, or speckles. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Maybe Hedgehog Fibers cereal colorway might work. It's like a creamy, oaty, beigey color with some speckles in it, but they're not like loud speckles. So that might be a possible. So that is also on my list. And then after I make those socks, I will donate this book to my public library, and then I will probably order volume 2 and pick some socks out of that one to knit. I think those are all my knitting plans for the fall. The other thing that I decided that I wanted to do this fall is I wanted to make one of those miniature bookshelf house thingies. And I found this one at Michael's, and it's called the Leisure Time Tea Room. And, excuse me, plant, check it out. How cool is this? So it is listed as a level 3, so apparently it's going to be a little complicated, but hey, whatever. It has 304 pieces in it, and it'll light up when it's done. And it's supposed to be able to fold, open, and close. And inside it are all of the things, the chairs, the pastries, the bench, the shelves, the art on the walls, all of the things, and it lights up. So if I'm not knitting and if I'm not doing English paper piecing, I thought that I would tackle this. It might become something that I end up working on with the girls as well, but I figured we could all just kind of sit there every once in a while, because last year we did puzzles together, and we would sit together and we would try to figure out puzzles. I'm super excited. Now that this video is done, I can wind some yarn and I can cast some things on. I can't wait. Let me know in the comments, please, what you guys are making, creating, crafting. Are you going to be working on some other things that don't have to do with knitting? Let me know. Share in the comments. I respond to every single comment that I get. I just really enjoy building the community and having other people that I can talk to about things that excite me and that excite other people as well. So please share in your comments with me what it is that you guys are currently making, or what you would like to make, or are there any new rabbit holes that you've recently jumped down? Share them, please. Let me know. With that said, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that you are doing well. And if you did enjoy this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, send up smoke signals, all of the things. I am, of course, trying to grow this channel, and I'm really enjoying the community that we are building. And with that said, I will talk to you guys soon, and yeah, bye for now.